Let's talk about the I Fund, CD Financial, where health meets wealth. If you're a federal employee or family member, you've come to the right place, because here at CD Financial, we work with federal employees and their family members every day of the week, and we love it. We welcome you here. So there's 5 major funds: the G, the F, C, S, and I Fund. We're going to talk about the I Fund. More often than not, a little overlooked. But because of the data from the last 20 years, there's reasons why it's overlooked as one of the stock funds, one of the 3 stock funds. Why? Because usually it doesn't perform as well over time as the C and the S fund. Of course, what's happened in the past is not always an indication of what's going to happen in the future. But to the TSP board's credit, they looked in 2017 and examined the I Fund to see if it was doing what it was supposed to do. And what they found out was it was a little lackluster. So they tried to sort out what they could do, because it had the 21 countries that it took stocks from, but they were already established companies. So it really lagged behind the C and the S fund. So what they decided to do was include or be inclusive with emerging markets. Emerging markets have a lot more potential to go up. And when you're in an equity or stock index fund, that's what your goal is to grow. So they wanted to get growth in it. But as they started to retool and examine what they were going to do with that fund in 2020, 2021, they got stalled and the brakes got put on. Do you want to know why? It's because in an international fund that they were looking at for growth, they had China included. And the TSP board did not think all these US citizens that were investing in the international fund should include stocks that were in China, because it didn't seem apparent that China had the best interests of the US at heart. And so the Department of Labor said, no way, Jose, we don't want to do that. We're not going to let you use emerging markets that include China. So they had to go back and they had to sort it out. And what they came up with is pretty cool now. Let me read it to you, and it's going to make more sense if I get it right from here. The I Fund's index includes over 5,000 stocks from guess how many countries? 44 countries, including 21 from the developed markets, the OG, let's call them, the original group of countries and stocks, as well as 23 emerging markets. Most of the large and medium-sized companies in the index, and they use a mathematical technique to hold a sample of these smaller stocks. The I Fund's benchmark index was changed in October 2024. Finally, it took them a couple years to get this finally launched to the MSCI All-Country World Investable Market Index, ex-USA. So anytime a fund is international, it doesn't include the US. A global fund does include the US. So it's an ex-USA, ex-China, ex-Hong Kong fund. So it looks like we are poised now, finally, for the I Fund to have the muscle and the potential to go places. So now when you have the Lifecycle fund, I don't feel so bad now that you're weighted so heavily in that under the Lifecycle funds. However, I always say, Charlie and Uncle Sam, they're your friends. The C Fund and the S Fund. Over time, they have looked, and it's appeared that those stock funds can do quite well for you in the TSP. Only the future holds what will happen with the C, S, and the I funds. But we sure are glad that now the I Fund has been retooled, and we have a lot of great expectations for it in the coming future. Will it hold up with growth rates like the C and the S Fund? Only time will tell. We'll see. This is Charles Jama. Remember, you don't have to work longer. You just need a better plan. We'll see you next time, folks. CD Financial, where health meets wealth.